Warren, and welcome to the Top Producer Podcast. Today we are looking at W, win-win, which is the ethical way to sell. This is from my ABC's Professional Selling. So W, win-win. Sales outcomes, the best sales outcomes work for everyone involved. So it's not a matter of a win and lose. And I've seen too many professionals go in this as the confrontational thing. You win, the client loses because they had to pay more, or vice versa. It should be a win-win scenario. Selling doesn't have to be aggressive, doesn't have to be manipulative or one-sided. In fact, most professionals avoid those approaches entirely. I'm one of them. If it starts to become aggressive or manipulative or one-sided, I'm out of there. It's too many other people out there that want to do good business and form a partnership. Ethics is a competitive advantage. Ethical selling builds trust, and trust compounds, by the way. Your clients don't want to feel sold to. They want to feel supported in making good decisions, and that's where win-win comes in. It's a partnership. You want to focus on alignment, not so much the persuasion. So I've watched professionals walk away from deals that didn't serve their client, only to be referred later by the same prospect. Why? Because the integrity leaves a memory. Remember that. Integrity leaves a memory. Clients remember who's protect their interests, especially when it's so easy not to. This is why competing on price and all these other things are so wrong in today's marketplace. When you're able to produce a win-win, you become an ethical professional, ethical seller that forms partnerships, that cares deeply about their clients and the outcomes and the results. Matter of fact, a lot of my proposals, I give a guarantee. If I don't meet your objectives, I'll continue to work with you at no charge until they're met. I'm comfortable doing that. I'm forming a partnership. So what does a win-win look like? There's three aspects to win-win. You say no when it's not a fit. Short-term restraints build long-term credibility. So if something doesn't work, simply say no. That's okay. Be clear about trade-offs. Honest conversations create confident decisions. So if something needs to be traded off, it doesn't involve you. Sometimes you do. I'm happy to do it for this. However, I need to remove some things over here. Here's the reasons why. I sat down one time with an executive from an energy company, and I simply said, we cannot do the deal. My margins will simply be too low. He shook my hand, respected me for that. He goes, I understand, and we did the deal. Put outcomes before ego. The goal isn't to win the deal, it's to win the relationship. And that's where we want to focus on, the relationship. And even if you don't do the deal now or can't close it now, if you're ethical, focus on the relationship, that will come back to you. Either they'll come back to you or they have to pass your name on to referrals. And sometimes it's simply not a good fit. And, I've stood up and we shook hands. Sorry, this is not a good fit for either one of us. They've appreciated it. And they've sent referrals along the way. So when both sides win, trust deepens. And when trust is the foundation for every great professional relationship and career, you need this. You need trusting relationships. When you're ethically selling and it's a win-win and you're developing trust and deep relationships, those will stay and follow you, or you can follow them. So in other words, I have followed executives from company to company as they got promoted or they changed careers, wherever the case may be, or they've called me because they know that I'm someone they can trust. And the same with you. They know that someone you can trust. And when you have that, selling does not become a challenge anymore. It becomes fun, becomes a game, becomes your competitive advantage. But more importantly, you become a top producer who's able to produce great results regardless of the market, regardless of the economy. I'm Clifton Warren. Thanks for listening.